of another Boston police officer, and that's the evidence that they put forward. A lot of conflict with that evidence, timing, text messages, some of the evidence put forth with the state police investigators, that people believe that there were conflicts there, that he knew some of the witnesses, the lead investigator, that he made some comments that were derogatory and unprofessional, in the words of the prosecution, as to whether or not any of that gets played into the next trial and how that would unfold at this point. And also, you also have the Karen Reed defense team, who believes strongly that this was a conspiracy and that something else happened to John O'Keefe, that he did go into the home and there was some type of a fight. And I think that they're looking at all of that evidence in a way that they, like you said, saw that there were a lot of conflicts here, and that's part of the problem.
And right now, we want to get you right out to WBZ's Penny Commit, who has been covering this case. She joins us live outside of the Dedham courthouse, where we did show you very briefly emotions were running high outside of the courtroom. And Penny, what is it like out there right now? What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Absolutely. The judge just announcing a mistrial, and I've been out here for 3 months now. I've seen this crowd. I've seen the way they've built over the weeks, and I want to talk to Rita Lombardi. She's one of the leaders of this movement. I know you guys erupted in cheers, but this wasn't the outcome you guys were looking for.
Absolutely not. We were expecting a not guilty verdict. All of the evidence that the defense put on, all of the cross-examination that the defense did with the pathetic, mostly pathetic, prosecution witnesses. Karen Reed did not kill John O'Keefe. It's that simple. She was framed. And we were hopeful that a jury, that was our last hope, that the jury would come back with a unanimous not guilty verdict. But we accept a hung jury, because we know it was either not guilty or a hung jury. Guilty was never an option in this case, because you were never going to get 12 jurors to go along with what the prosecution put forward, with the planting of evidence and all the nonsense. And I hit him. She did not say I hit him.
Well, thanks for your time, Rita.
Yes.
Thanks for talking to us. And guys, a huge eruption out here after that mistrial was declared. Remember, these jurors have been deadlocked. This was several days of deliberation, and I will say this deliberation pretty on par with some other major trials in Massachusetts. It took the jurors several days. The judge sent them back twice, but officially a mistrial declared out here, guys. The atmosphere, I will say, we expected a lot of movement. I think it's a little still. I think people wanted an answer. I think people wanted some sort of closure, and even though it's a mistrial and there is some eruption, I don't know if they got that closure today.
And we're now getting ready to hear from Karen Reed for the first time after this has been declared a mistrial. Let's listen.
Quick reaction. Yes, quick reaction.
Yeah, they went to the steps.
Happen in court and what will happen going forward. But it looks like here they are walking out among the crowd there. A lot of supporters outside, people on both sides. Emotions running high in a case like this, always, but especially after a mistrial. I think everyone hoping to get some type of resolution. You heard her supporters saying that they believed it was going to be a not guilty. I'm sure John O'Keefe's family and the prosecution believed that they would be getting a guilty verdict today.
Ben, hearing from Rita Lombardi, one of the Karen Reed supporters, you're right. It's a reminder that this case has been declared a mistrial, but it is not over. It is far from over for both sides, for John O'Keefe's family, as well as Karen Reed's family and supporters.
Right. And at this point now, the prosecution has a decision to make. Will they retry her? We don't know what the court calendar is like. We heard the judge set a status date for the case for the end of July. At that time, presumably, or before then, the prosecution will make a decision as to when and how they'll be going forward in the case. A lot still to consider.
Now, for viewers tuning in who are wondering, okay, if we start this process all over again, Cheryl, what could this look like? I know you spoke a little bit about the calendar and seeing, because there has to be time to do this, but what could this whole process look like, considering that a considerable amount of time and money has already been spent?
Well, I mean, the process will continue however the prosecution wishes it to. I mean, they have all the charges to take a look at. They have a second-degree murder charge, which some people felt like it was an overcharge in this case. You know, they have the manslaughter charge. They have leaving the scene after personal injury and death. A lot to consider, and I know that we have one of our experts that we've been using, former Judge Jack Lew, on the line. And Judge, we'd like to get your reaction to what's happened today.
I'm here.
Great. Judge, it's Cheryl Fiandaca. Can you hear us okay?
Hi, Courtney and Cheryl. I can hear and see you. A little bit of a delay.
Great. Okay. So what did you think about the judge's decision to call a mistrial in this case?
I think the judge handled it perfectly. Perfectly. This is obviously this case may be one of a kind, but the judge I think handled it perfectly.
And so what do you see happening next?
It sounds like the judge set a late July status date. I think there are a couple of different options. So the judge might want to just set a trial date and maybe some interim dates. Or it could be that the defense is going to appeal on the sufficiency of the evidence, or attempt to appeal on the sufficiency of the evidence. The fact that the jury could not agree, that there was a hung jury, increases the chances that kind of an appeal might be successful. So those are the two. If that second thing happens, it could take a year, 2 years.
So there's still a little bit of time there, Judge, that something more than another trial could happen. There could be an appeal that would have a decision in this case as well.
Yeah, it improves. They can really go up on appeal and say the evidence is insufficient. And the defense here is amazing, of course, and they've shown that they're very aggressive. It's tricky. It is tricky. You're taking calculated risks all day long, representing either side in a case like this. And the defense is taking chances. For one thing, by wanting the mistrial. That's a big tactical and strategic choice.
Why do you think they made that decision?
I think they have, on an issue like this, as you know, the client really makes the decision, because it's a big decision. The little decisions the lawyer can make without even consulting the client. But the big decisions the client makes, so the client must have approved this. Or maybe the lawyer, there is a theory that for defense lawyers, they'll say something like this: every day that your client is not dragged out of court in chains is a good day in the work of a criminal defense lawyer. So they may think, hey, if they don't, let's take a mistrial and we'll come back on another day. And it cannot be considered as a win for the prosecution.
Now, Judge,
but on the second trial, it's unclear.
Now, Judge Jack Lew, we do want to thank you for your perspective and helping to give our viewers a little bit more of understanding about what could be next. But we do want to take you back out to WBZ's Christina Rex, who also has been covering this trial from day one. Christina. Now, it does appear we're having some technical difficulties here with audio, so we're just going to hang on because we know we are going to come back to Christina. She would have a lot of. Do you have us now? There we go. There she is. We can hear Christina. Christina, go ahead. Okay, so right now it does appear that we lost Christina again, but we are going to keep trying because, again, Cheryl, she has been following this case from the very beginning. She's been in the courtroom. She's been outside of the courtroom. She's been following and helping to make this case digestible for everyday viewers. So we will get back to her shortly.
Right, and I'm sure she's gathering information, talking to the families, talking to supporters, talking to the prosecution, talking to the defense team, just getting a perspective from everyone here about what's happened. I think that, you know, part of what when you look at this and how polarizing the case has been, I don't know that there is any real surprise that this has happened. I mean, we saw the jury came back not once but twice saying that they weren't able to make a decision, that they were really struggling with their convictions. The judge issuing what's called the dynamite instruction. It's called Tui Rodriguez also, which basically says to the jury, we need you to make a decision. You have all the evidence that you need. You have all of the information. No other jury could come forward that would have more information to make the decision in this case. And yet they still came back and said, we are still very settled in our convictions and we're not able to come to a unanimous decision.
Now, I do think it was interesting for our viewers as well, Judge Liu bringing up the fact that defense could appeal.
Right. So they can appeal based on what the sufficiency of the evidence, basically saying that this jury could not find that there was enough evidence to convince them beyond a reasonable doubt that she's responsible for the death of John O'Keefe. And at this point, I think we have Christina Rex outside. So let's go back out to the courtroom and see the courthouse and see if we can chat with her.
Yeah, Cheryl and Courtney, hopefully you guys can hear me now. I've been inside that courtroom every day for 10 weeks during the trial when the judge just declared a mistrial in that courtroom. And I've been careful not to, you know, really...
All right, everybody, we have been listening to coverage from our CBS station in Boston, and you can see there that there are so many people outside that courthouse. That could be why we're seeing some technical issues with getting that shot here. But the judge overseeing the Karen Reed murder trial just declared a mistrial. The jury coming back saying they are deeply divided, cannot reach a unanimous verdict. Not once, but twice they came back to the judge saying they couldn't reach a verdict. And today, the judge issuing that dynamite instruction, the Tui Rodriguez instruction, essentially saying that no jury more intelligent or more equipped can come to this decision better than you can. I'm hoping to maybe move the needle a little bit one way or the other among this jury of 6 men and 6 women. Just a little reminder of the case. Karen Reed, accused of killing her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, a police officer, back in January of 2022. Her supporters cheering outside. There's been a big Karen Reed, Free Karen Reed movement. But now there will be a status hearing at the end of July, and it will be up to the DA to decide whether to retry the case. We're going to follow this and keep bringing you updates.
Go to the ends of the earth.
Right now.
We got something crazy. And reach for the stars.
Here we are.
Todd.
Yes, it's my comeback.
Hey, this is pretty fun.
But wait, there's more.
Experience thought-provoking.
Welcome to the idea of being a human being.
Innovative and truly original reporting.
Look through a telescope and go, wow.
Because there's always something new under the sun on CBS Sunday morning.
At this moment, terrorists could be plotting another attack.
9/11 triggered a counter-terrorist system that included a secret database.
This person